To be honest, I wouldn't take that name on board too much. They can be found in freshwater environments. They are found in freshwater environments a lot. They're not exclusive to the coast or to the ocean or the beaches or anything like that. So don't think that if you do find a nice river or billabong somewhere in the northern parts of Australia, that you can rule out a large crocodile like this being in there, because they can definitely move into those kind of areas. And a lot of the time, they will be found in more fresher water than actual seawater. What these guys aim to do is keep themselves pretty inconspicuous underneath the surface of the water, and trying to look out for animals that are going to come down to the river to have a drink. Now, not too many animals are heading down to the beach to drink from the sea. If they are, you should probably leave them well alone, because it could be contagious whatever is causing that. So obviously they are going to head up to the river, head up the estuaries, and usually that water is nice and murky like this, and they can use that as camouflage. So what Zach's actually doing right now, as you can see, he's following me up and down the pen. So I'm just going to work him up a little bit. But if he wasn't putting his head out of the water like this, which is a completely captive behaviour, okay? He knows the drill today. He knows he's going to get some food if he comes out for us. But in the wild, he doesn't know that. And he's going to try very, very hard to keep himself completely concealed until that very last minute. So obviously, if they're in water that looks like this, they're submerged, they're not going to be able to see very well. And obviously their hearing and smell as well is not going to be too great underwater. So they basically pick up the vibrations that are made through the ground. So what I'm doing right now, walking up and down, even if he couldn't visually see me, he'd know exactly where I was. And this is how they pick up animals in their habitat. So as soon as a large animal comes down to the river for a drink, he will make his way over. And then he'll slowly stalk that animal. Now we'll give him a little piece here.
Jesus.
Cool. Alright, so that's Zach. So now he's out of the way, you can really see just how big he is, okay? So this is why they have to try very, very hard to try and keep themselves hidden for the majority of the time. And to be honest, they do a very, very good job considering just how big they are. Now Zach's probably around about 70 years old at a guess. No one knows for sure how old crocodiles can live for, easily over 100 years. Now Zach's been here at the zoo for about 30 years. He was brought in because he was hanging around boat ramps, causing a bit of a problem for people. However, the only reason that happened is because people didn't take their own responsibilities of putting their bait or their catch or their frames, whatever it was, into a bin out of reach. They just left them there, they washed them out at the boat ramp. And of course, crocodiles, being a wild animal, they are going to search for the easiest option. And if that is a couple of fish frames floating around at a boat ramp, well, that's where it's going to hang around. And unfortunately, he then gets deemed as a problem crocodile because he's coming way too close to people. But anyway, he's been here about 30 years or so. When he came here, he was about 30 centimetres smaller than what he is now. So in that time, he's only grown a very, very small amount. So it is possible he could have been 50, 60 years old before he even came here. So, but crocodiles are very, very difficult to age unless you know the actual hatch date of the animal. No one's been breeding crocodiles yet for 100 years. But if you look at other large reptiles, they have slow metabolisms. They're very good at conserving energy, which usually leads to quite a long lifespan. Now me walking around here, obviously usually what crocodiles will do is they'll head back into the water. That's where they're at their advantage. If you see on the land there as he moves around, that huge big tail, those short stumpy legs, well they're great for in the water, okay? There's a lot of muscle back there, allows him to really get himself